The final chapter of this saga unfolds like the slow reveal of a tightly wound narrative, and when Jesse Waters revisits the not off to a great start moment, it feels less like a critique and more like the opening line of an extended lesson in leadership, perception, and resilience under pressure, because by now the sheriff's team has moved beyond immediate missteps into a phase where every action is scrutinized not for drama, but for evidence of competence, and Waters expertly guides the audience through this evolution, tracing each adjustment, each clarification, each carefully orchestrated briefing, and highlighting the subtle signals that separate reactive management from proactive command, and in doing so, he transforms a routine news segment into a masterclass in institutional behavior under the relentless gaze of public expectation. Behind the scenes, the tension is palpable, though invisible. Advisors parsing every possible question, internal communication protocols tightened to near perfection, and every move now a deliberate step toward credibility, because in an age of constant media and social amplification, perception is as crucial as performance, and Waters makes it clear that the sheriff's office has learned that the cost of ambiguity is steep, the price of hesitation even steeper, and the stakes are not simply professional but existential in the court of public opinion. The audience, meanwhile, has become an active participant in the narrative, analyzing body language, reading between lines, weighing updates against earlier statements, and Waters emphasizes that this shift from passive viewership to engaged scrutiny is precisely why early errors resonate longer than they once did. Because in the modern media landscape, the first impression is archived, replayed, and cross-referenced endlessly, and institutions are now competing not just with events, but with public memory itself, where clarity, consistency, and confidence become the currency of credibility. As the sheriff's team continues to navigate this environment, Waters dissects the interplay between action and optics, showing how every carefully timed press release, every precise phrase in a briefing, and every visible sign of composure contributes incrementally to restoring trust. He illustrates that recovery is rarely linear, that small missteps may continue to appear, but that a cumulative pattern of transparent, deliberate choices can slowly transform perception, replacing early doubts with cautious confidence, and ultimately establishing a foundation for future challenges that is stronger because it was tempered in real time under scrutiny. The narrative also takes on a human dimension, as Waters reminds viewers that leadership under pressure is about more than protocol. It is about instinct, empathy, and judgment, the ability to anticipate questions before they are asked, to balance authority with accessibility, and to communicate not just facts but reassurance, because in the early chaos, confidence is contagious while uncertainty is viral, and the sheriff's team, having confronted the fallout of initial missteps, is now operating with a heightened awareness of both the power and the responsibility of every public statement, a lesson that resonates beyond the immediate case into broader reflections on institutional trust. Beyond the department itself, the story intersects with wider societal dynamics, how communities interpret transparency, how media amplifies nuance, how critics and supporters alike shape the ongoing narrative, and Waters weaves this context seamlessly, showing that modern leadership is less about isolated decisions and more about patterns of behavior that can either reinforce or undermine credibility. He frames the sheriff's team as a case study in this delicate equilibrium, where each action is weighted against past errors and future expectations, and where the ultimate measure is not whether mistakes were made, but whether they catalyzed growth, discipline, and clarity. In the closing moments, the analysis becomes reflective yet provocative, with Waters highlighting that a rocky start, though memorable, is not destiny. The sheriff's team has demonstrated that adaptation, transparency, and measured decisiveness can gradually reshape perception, and he leaves viewers with a dual challenge and invitation: to recognize the complexity behind every public-facing decision, and to engage critically, not passively, with how institutions evolve under scrutiny, because the story is ongoing, the stakes are real, and the final narrative of competence, resilience, and regained trust is still being written before our eyes. A lesson in leadership that is as cautionary as it is instructive, and one that underscores the enduring truth that beginnings matter, but endings are earned through consistent, accountable, and transparent action.